CWM 95.6.
Just coming up to 8 minutes past 7. Details are emerging of more young men who've left their homes in the West Midlands and gone to Syria to join the militant group ISIS. We know that 3 teenage friends from Coventry tricked their families who had no idea what they'd been planning to do. In one instance, one of them asked his parents for his passport, saying that he needed it for his university paperwork. The father of one of them, Kabir Amani, says family members have been to Turkish-Syrian borders in the hope of finding the boys.
They tried their best to bring him back, but they didn't find him. After 15 or 16 days or so, they come back. My background, my family is not extremists. We hate them. We don't like them. I don't know what happened with him. Maybe somebody worked with him. I don't know. Brainwash. Because he was not like that.
Now, the government and anti-terror police believe that around about 500 British citizens have gone to join the fighting in Iraq and Syria. There are fears, though, that number is much higher. The Labour MP for Birmingham Perry Bar, Khalid Mahmood, he believes as many as 2,000 may have been radicalised and flown to Syria.
The Conservative figure would be about 1,500 and possibly up to 2,000 wouldn't exactly be a very high figure. But unfortunately, the problem that we have a border agency that doesn't monitor any of this and weren't able to look at who people are going at. But also, the border agencies had a problem when they were coming back into the country. Because of the short staffing at the border agency, they weren't able to monitor.
Let's speak to Usman Nawaz, a former member of the Young Muslim Advisory Group. Usman, good morning.
Good morning, Pete.
Why are there so many young Muslims wanting to go over there and fight?
Well, I'm not sure what evidence Khalid Mahmood MP has for the 2,000 that he's speaking about, but certainly, we're hearing from the former director of MI6 for global terrorism that there's about 500, 300 are returning. So the figures are not exactly there yet, and perhaps we need some more analysis on them. But the fact that even one person from this country feels that they need to travel to the Middle East, to Syria or Iraq and take part in a conflict in which they don't really understand what the nuances are, I think is really worrying. These are young people. If we look at the young people who were featured in the ISIS propaganda video that came out over this last week, or we look at the young people from Coventry that have travelled out, they're 17, 18, 19, no one really above 21, 22 years old. That is really worrying, that people who are well-spoken, of university age, having good prospects in this country, are somehow radicalised into thinking that their help is needed to struggle and take part in a conflict, which ultimately they will not be providing any solution to. They will actually be prolonging that conflict by taking part in it. They'll be wasting their own lives. They'll be killing many innocent people if they do get onto any kind of battlefield. And it's not conducive to any of the situation out there. And my heart really does go out to their parents, who seemingly had no idea what their children were involved with.
If the parents did know, could they stop them? Can they stop them going out there?
I think if their parents were aware, they could have spoken to them, they could have challenged their ideas. I think this is one of the things that the counter-narrative to the radical narrative, this jihadist and Islamist narrative is not as strong enough in our community as it should be. The Muslim community and more generally, the government and schools and everybody needs to contribute to this. We should be talking more about the counter-narrative. So, they could have spoken to them, they could have directed them, they could have signposted them. Ultimately, they could have mentioned it to the police and said, I'm actually concerned about my son and, that he will be travelling to Syria, just to let them know, because, it's easier for them to let the police know and deal with that young person in this country than for him to go off to Syria and then worry about his body coming back or not even coming back. Absolutely, I think if anybody does have any information about young people, one of the local papers in Birmingham today are talking about three people who have been stopped and arrested after returning from the Middle East, and again that's from Khalid Mahmood. I mean, there is definitely a problem, but we shouldn't overemphasize and overhype the problem. We do need some calm in this. We need to really look at what is it that is radicalizing young people. We need to look at the role of social media in this, how ISIS are using new media, the internet, the social media to attract young people.
Yeah, because that's the big thing that's changing. Police saying that, every day they're removing vast quantities of radical material. We all remember particularly, with Al-Qaeda, that it would have been a videotape that would have been released to a local news agency, so that there was a kind of filter to it getting to everybody else. But with social media, it's a direct feed, isn't it?
It is, Pete, and this. If you look at the video of the 4 or 5 young people almost sat around a campfire having a laugh and a joke, it's actually an appeal by young people to young people. This isn't a figurehead of an organisation saying you need to come and be a part of the struggle. This is young people calling on their own peers and saying that if you do not come and join us, there's a question mark over your own faith. Are you actually a Muslim if you do not take part in this? If you don't take part in the struggle, that is a real issue. So we need to have some resilience. The communities, the Muslim community and wider communities need to work together to make sure that young people have a safe space to talk about the issues in the Middle East, that their views are challenged if they are problematic, that they are signposted and they are given the correct guidance. It's so much easier now than it has been ever before to be self-radicalized in the comfort of your own bedroom or through flicking through tweets on your iPhone. It's so much easier to be self-radicalized now.
Usman, thanks very much for spending some time with us this morning. Usman Nawaz, former member of the Young Muslim Advisory Group.